Tonight on the Barbra Walters special.
Did you go into comedy because you couldn't make it as an actor?
Yes, I actually...
Is that true? I mean, that's what I read. That you couldn't get a job as a...
Yes.
You cry on this program and I won't run any of it.
I couldn't make it as an actor. I remember doing Hamlet going, to be, line. The one that officially put you in show business is Tonight Show.
Yeah.
I mean, your Tonight Show is kind of like your first girl. It's over real quick. You don't remember a whole lot about it.
Barbara, darling, you look marvelous. Absolutely marvelous. How do you stay in shape so you can stay inside your clothes?
This is the Comedy Store in Los Angeles, California. Here, night after night, comedians step into the spotlight armed only with a microphone and their own wit. Tonight, we have three men who came up this way, the hard way. Robin Williams. They call him a genius. They now call him a superb actor. And as you'll hear tonight, after years of turmoil, he's also a happy man. Billy Crystal, the man with all those faces and voices. Now a romantic leading man in one of this summer's best movies, Jay Leno, comedy's everyman. Tuesdays on Johnny Carson, the rest of the week everywhere. Is he being groomed for Johnny's job? You know, in the past, I've said that in general, I find comedians the most difficult to interview because you don't ask questions, you just play straight man and they give you punchlines. But times have changed. This is probably the most fun I've had doing a special, and you're about to see why. Billy Crystal, Jay Leno, Robin Williams. Enjoy.
The Barbra Walters special. Brought to you by Mercury. See the new Mercuries for $19.90 at your Lincoln Mercury dealer. And Bayer. For safe, effective pain relief, Bayer is the wonder drug that works wonders.
Pain. Pain that throbs. Aches. Pain that pulses. Remember, there is a wonder drug for pain like this. The wonder drug doctors themselves take more often for pain. The wonder drug doctors take more than extra-strength Tylenol, more than Advil. More doctors take Bayer for pain. Bayer is the wonder drug that works wonders.
Nothing moves you.
Something wild is coming.
Petra!
The Cougar XR7. It has speed-sensitive steering and anti-lock brakes. But most of all, it has a supercharged 210 horsepower engine. Wow! It's becoming a cat-eat-dog world out there. Cougar. All this and the quality of a Mercury.
Sea of Love is suspenseful and seductive. A gorgeous thriller, says Rolling Stone. New York Magazine calls it erotic.
I wonder how we made it through last night in one piece.
An exciting murder mystery. Thrilling, declares ABC Radio. Pacino is spectacular and should collar an Oscar nomination.
She's a suspect, Frank.
And Rex Reed calls Sea of Love the sexiest thriller since Fatal Attraction.
Don't so move!
Sea of Love, rated R. Now playing at a theater near you.
I live with my time, progress, performance. For my skincare, I choose Plenitude from L'Oreal. With Plenitude, my skin can actively defend itself from the signs of aging. Become supple, radiant, younger looking.
L'Oreal introduces Plenitude, the #1 skincare in France for reducing the signs of aging.
With Plenitude, I reduce the signs of aging every day. And I'm worth it.
Tonight on Nightline, she spent 2 years in jail rather than let her ex-husband spend 2 weeks alone with their daughter. Dr. Elizabeth Morgan and her former husband join us live tonight.
Hi. Barbara's not here yet, so I wanted to show you some things in the house before she gets here, and it's going to get, you know, really heavy and probably very depressing. So I'll show you these things right now, so come with me, won't you? Whoa. I hope... Hi. I hope this is working. Yeah. Oh, first thing is, I am sorry to admit this, but this is a guy's wall. Up here, this is a program, my first game, 1956. You can see right there. Mickey Mantle hit a home run from here to, like, off the program, somewhere in Brooklyn. It hit some old guy in the back of the head. What the hell was that? Is Mickey playing? This is one of my favorite pieces. This is an autographed picture of Billie Holiday, who was a very important part of my family, actually.
Billy Crystal's career began at his Long Island home playing to his relatives. Most stand-ups confess to being basically shy as children. Not Billy. The living room was his stage. This routine he calls the one-legged tap dancer. Here, he charms the crowd with an Ed Sullivan impersonation. His mother, Helen, played Minnie Mouse in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade and played referee to Billy and his two brothers. His father ran a record store and devoted his energy to jazz. A close friend was Billie Holiday. Between the relatives and the jazzmen, Billy found voices that he would carry with him always.
The other night, see, I was in the park and I did a concert. Oh, I was blowing, man, 4 hours. Every riff I knew, man. Boo-doo-doo-wee, boo-doo-doo-da-da. Boo-doo-doo-wee, ba-da-ba-doo-ba-ba-ba-doo. Man, I'm telling you, if I had had my horn, it would have been heavy.
With an ear for dialects, he started his stand-up comedy career in the early 70s. He imitated Yul Brynner.
Moses and the Hebrew is thing taken with us, my father.
Muhammad Ali.
I am the greatest.
And, of course, his relatives.
We're in Boca Raton now. We like it there. You know, we have that, the early bird special. I love the pompano in the bag. Forget about it. How could a fish in a paper bag taste like that? Forget about plots. I love that. We split it. Lenny, get the car.
If anyone's interested, I've thought it over, and I've definitely decided to go ahead with the sex change operation.
Most of us first remember seeing Billy as a regular on Soap. He played a gentle homosexual by the name of Jody Dallas.
So it's you and the congressman.
You and the quarterback.
Billy was a hit, but he was only using 1/10 of his talent, and he knew it. In 1984, that changed. He'd been cut from the very first show of Saturday Night Live almost 10 years earlier, and it left him heartbroken. So when he came back, he was a man with a mission. He was only on the show 1 season, but what a season. Billy was playing the living room again, this time on national television.
California. My daughter-in-law is from there, the shiksa with the blonde hair who puts ketchup on gefilte fish.
Whether it was one of his fetching relatives or an overly showbiz Sammy Davis impersonation, it seemed that the more Billy lost himself in another persona, the harder we laughed.
It would be an honor to help you, babe. Now, what we gotta do is loosen you up a little bit. You're a little stiff. Come on, dance with me, man. Chicana. Ow! Barbara, you look marvelous.
And the icing on the cake was Fernando. Here at the Hideaway, he interviewed celebrities in a manner that was so embarrassingly fawning that the whole country couldn't help but get the joke.
Marielle Hemingway is a marvelous star.
Well, I think she's a terrific actress, and unfortunately she got into all this publicity for that picture Star 80 of having her breasts enlarged, and I think that took a lot of attention away from her acting performance in the film, which was very good.
How big did she get her breasts?
The move to Saturday Night Live was a good one. It launched a new career into the movies with films like Running Scared and Throw Mama from the Train.
You lied to me.
Then this past summer came When Harry Met Sally.
I'll roll down the window.
It's been a long road getting here, but at age 42, Billy has finally gotten what he deserves, a huge hit and a new career as a romantic leading man.
Are we becoming friends now?
Well, yeah.
Grace, a woman friend. You know, you may be the first attractive woman I have not wanted to sleep with in my entire life.
Billy met his best friend in 1966, a girl named Janice Goldfinger. He took her on a date to Shea Stadium to watch the Mets.
Ow.
They've now been married 19 years and have 2 daughters, Jenny and Lindsay. Both girls want to follow in their dad's footsteps and are studying, among other things, acting. In spite of this, the Crystals aren't what you'd call a showbiz family. Their home isn't large, but it's quite pleasant, with a touch here and there that's pure Billy. like a bathroom from a 747.
Come on in. Here it is. It's an actual airplane bathroom. So, come with me, won't you? Everything works off the latch. Please lock door, see?
Position radar approach course.
Hear him?
Maintain heading 360.
And we have clouds going by. And also, look at this. See the little soaps? I take everything. If you ever see me on a plane, and I'm in the bathroom for a long time, I'm not sick. I'm stealing.
But probably the most unusual part of the place is just down the hill.
See, this is an amphitheater that was built by the first owner. It's 62 years old, and it's caving in. It's a little bit of Rome in the backyard.
Why did he build it?
He was a vaudeville magician, and he'd stand right here and do shows. And I come down here and I sing, which is what I want to do now. It had to be you, it had to be you. I wandered around and finally found somebody who could make me be true.
Could make me feel blue.
Yeah.
And even be glad just to be sad, singing with you. Oh, no. Billy is as open and clear-headed as anyone I've met. And not surprisingly, when he comes to the living room, he comes ready to work. I have here a few dimes.
Okay.
You know why?
Okay. When I would perform, and I'd get on the coffee table, and I'd imitate my Uncle Mac and all my relatives. That's why I picked up dialects. See, we had this little tiny house in Long Beach, Long Island. And when the relatives came over, they put their coats in my room. So my room became the wardrobe room. See, so I would put on the coats, my brothers and I would go out and, like, work the room.
Like what?
Stand on the coffee table. I'd walk up to Uncle Mac and go, now I'm 5 or 6 years old, going, Uncle Mac, what's happening with you? Why, are you crazy? Why do you drive like that? And they'd get hysterical, and then my cousin Edith would give me dimes, and I'd put a dime right on my head, see? So then, as the show progressed, if my head got filled up with all the dimes, like this...
And they stick.
And they stick, show's over.
I see, and you're a rich kid.
Yeah, and we go in the room, go, how'd you do? How'd you do? It's $1.50. Ooh, I was hot tonight. So thanks for the dimes.
Tell me about your father, because although your childhood was a happy childhood, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then your father died when you were
Yeah.
quite young. What did that do to you, 15 years old?
I think it's also still doing it to me. And when he passed away quite suddenly, we had had an argument that night, and I always thought it was sort of my fault, you know, because he left the room, and then later that night, you know, had died. And I was so angry and frustrated, and not having a chance to say, I'm sorry. But then one day I realized that he didn't either. And I found a lot of peace in that. And I thought that the night that he went out and he had a heart attack that had happened to him, he didn't get a chance to say, hey, I'm sorry, I was not feeling well that night, or whatever it might have been. So that made me feel a little bit better. I didn't take it all on myself, you know.
You very often portray old men. You like to portray old men.
I'm getting ready.
It's almost your time.
I'm going to be a hip old guy. Yeah, I do a lot of old people. I was around so many of them when I was a kid. They were tired all the time because they said everything 3 times because of the food. They would sit there and I go, Bob, Bob. So you say everything 3 times for 70 years, you're exhausted. That was my theory on them. It was the food kept them older. And tired. Oh, boy.
Tell me about Saturday Night Live. What was the first character you did when you went back to Saturday Night Live?
Fernando. Fernando exploded. I don't know why. I still don't know why. You Look Marvelous became... I mean, it was just enormous. And all because I said, darling Barbara, you look marvelous. And I don't know why. It was just the way he said it.
I love it. I was going to ask you to do it. I just love it.
It was his, I think it was his insincere sincerity that made this guy so popular.
Do it once more, and then I won't ask you again.
Barbara, darling, you look marvelous. Absolutely marvelous. How do you stay in shape so you can stay inside your clothes?
Because it's better to look good than to feel good.
Oh, it's much better to look good than to feel good. I'll tell you that right now.
You do Sammy Davis.
Sammy Walters.
Yeah.
Now, Sammy I never did till I hosted the show. And I had been working with Sammy at Lake Tahoe for 28 straight nights. I'd never met him before. And I would come down 2 hours early, Barbara, just to talk to him in the dressing room. I loved him so much. I kept pinching myself. I'm working with Sammy Davis. And when you work with him a lot, you just can't help but leave a room talking like him. And it's exciting. And so when I got to Saturday night, I said, you know, I think I could do Sammy Davis. Well, the next day, my mother calls, and she said, I love the show. Boy, that Eddie Murphy does Sammy Davis so great. I said, Mom, it was me. And she said, get out of it. I said, it was me. And she said, do it. I started talking to her on the phone. Mom, sitting there in Collins Avenue. How are you, babe? And she got hysterical.
In When Harry Met Sally, a sub-theme of your new movie is couples who were married a long time, how they met and how they stay together. How did you meet Janice, and will you tell me how she has put up with your crazy life for 18 years?
It's longer now. You know, I realized that I had my last date in 1966.
You remember exactly
July
what it was?
25th, 1966.
I don't want that at all.
Janice and I was our first, and we've been together ever since. We've been married 19 years, be 20 years. We've been together since 1966.
Ever think you've missed anything?
Mm-mm.
How does she, what is it like for her? I mean, first of all, do you go in and out of character with her?
At request.
I see. Only if she says do something. Because she says, I don't like you the way you are, be somebody else?
Honey, would you order like Sammy? Waiter! I'll have the chicken named after me.
Your private life. I mean, this house, the 2 kids, and I hear this is where all of the gang, all the other comedians come and, you know, Thanksgiving and so forth. It's a very sweet private life.
Mm-hmm. But people are always surprised at how normal this house is. We carpool, we go to PTA, we're very active in their schools. I just have an odd job, but we're good people, and I think we have a really good heart.
And then the only thing that I could see that I thought, now what is this? Is something that says resolves, and it's.
You want to read this? Or do you want me to read it?
You read the part that you think is pertinent, because you have it right out on your table.
Okay, now Rob gave this to me
Rob Reiner.
Rob Reiner, and it says resolved. Let your remarks be of your own invention. Don't say it's a hot day to the Iceman. Don't say I like pie. Everybody likes pie. Don't say it's a cold world. Everybody says that, and it isn't true anyway. Say something entirely new. Say something worthwhile, and the world will pay real money to hear it. That's an interesting thing.
Why do you have it there? What does it mean?
It always reminds me to say what's on your mind, and say things differently, and express yourself as an artist, and don't be afraid. I like that thing a lot.
Billy, if things change for you now, I mean, this film is such a hit that there will be a lot of offers coming in. There may already, I assume they're already in.
Mm-hmm.
And you find yourself, money comes in, everybody wants you, it's the big success. Is that terrific, or is that something that a part of you says,
I'm a little afraid right now. This has been a long time in coming for me personally to feel really good about my work. I like that I'm evolving, and I'm not just, hey, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not just doing that. It's an interesting time in my life. It's good stuff. It's great stuff, but it's an apprehensive time.
Look ahead 30 years. You're now the old man. And where is Billy Crystal in 30 years?
Where I am, hopefully I'm in some theater watching Jenny and Lindsay doing something. That's what they want to do. I'm encouraging them. Because if no one encouraged me, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you. Mm-hmm. I just, wherever I be, I hope I'm happy and I don't have gas.
Nothing moves you. Cougar LS. It's sleek, like a cat. And it's speed-sensitive steering gives it cat-like agility. You'll spend endless hours playing with it. In fact, this cat could become man's best friend. Cougar. All this on the quality of a luxury.
I want to love you, feel you, wrap myself around you. I'm so excited, just about to lose control. I'm about to lose control.
The fabulous Baker Boys were looking for a singer.
What about me?
But they got more than they bargained for.
Then I want my picture on the poster.
We'll talk about it later. Where's your dress?
What, do I look like I'm naked?
The fabulous Baker Boys, rated R.
Don't grab it!
Starts Friday, October 13th at a theater near you.
Usually I get things right. I do, but not my perms. Almost right, not quite right, wrong. So now what happens? Precisely right by Ogilvy, that's what happens. The perm you cannot get wrong because it times itself, and when it's through, it shuts itself off. So Precisely Right won't over-perm or frizz. It'll just give you what you want. Beautiful body and volume and soft, shiny curl. This is the hair I've always wanted. I finally got it right. Precisely Right by Ogilvy. You just can't get it wrong.
Tomorrow, what a night for a wedding.
Speak now or forever hold your peace.
Growing pains.
Tough room.
Then, the reason school is cool.
I am going to love it here.
The season premiere, head of the class. Then,
I think we can have a lot of fun the next few months.
Anything But Love premieres. And Doogie Howser, M.D.
You mean she's never been checked out by a doctor of the opposite sex?
Guess not on the second date, no.
Growing Pains, the season premiere of Head of the Class, the season premiere of Anything But Love, and Doogie Howser, M.D. What a Wednesday tomorrow.
The Barbra Walters special will continue in a moment.
Thursday, short-circuited drug cartel.
Watch out!
Mission impossible. Then,
if you continue to ride with the Pony Express, my warriors may kill you.
Which side are you on?
Better pick one.
it's a walk between two worlds on the Young Riders. Sunday.
You could get killed chasing after your fortune and glory.
Harrison Ford in the network television premiere, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, Sunday. This is a TV5 Eyewitness News Brief.
I'm Ted Henry. A progress report tonight for over 5,000 steelworkers at Timken. There are now new contract talks scheduled in an effort to end a two-day strike. In the Shaker Heights schools, an ongoing support worker strike sees a show of support tonight, and some pretty unstable chemicals clear the building at Twinsburg High. Now this.
It's me. Now, here's a wrap that you should know, made with Pillsbury Crescent Rolls. Just wrap a wiener filled with cheese. Pick it up. It's sure to please. The Doughboy Wrap. Woo-hoo!
All the news, sports, and weather coming up. We'll see you on Eyewitness News at 11.
Me, personally, I have a forceful personality, and I can't change my personality to be a choir boy. I fought all the battles. I've served with 5 mayors. I've served 26 years. I've been in a leadership position in the council for 16 years, and I think that amply qualifies me to understand how to run the government of the city of Cleveland. I don't think there's anybody with more training than I have to be the mayor of the city of Cleveland.
Forbes for mayor. A tough man for a tough job.
Simone from Head of the Class.
And Rick from Santa Barbara.
Wednesday.
The car is a 1946 Morgan three-wheeler, one of over 30 classic cars and motorcycles he keeps in working order. At age 39, Jay Leno has 2 passions in life, cars and making people laugh.
Oh, here's a terrific one. This is Pin the Tail on the OPRAH. Can you get a shot of that? Let me show you how this will work. This gets a little tricky. Can we set this up here? The game starts off kind of easy, but as OPRAH loses weight, it gets harder and harder to play.
He is the heir apparent to Johnny Carson's Tonight Show throne. He fills in for Johnny one night a week and spends most of the other nights on the road. From Vegas nightclubs to Midwestern comedy clubs to Catskill resorts, there is no bigger name right now in stand-up comedy than Jay Leno.
Oh, gentlemen. Yeah, I'm ready to go. Let's punch in.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Be right back.
Jay Leno!
Unlike Billy Crystal, Jay rarely uses characters or voices. His is observational humor. Jay tells jokes, clean and funny, the kind that everyone gets.
Now, see, now, a lot of people make fun of Rambo and Commando, you know, these movies. But let's face it, this is the American way. I mean, Schwarzenegger and Stallone, what they've done is they've opened up the acting profession to a lot of people who couldn't get into it when speech was a major requirement.
Jay grew up in New Rochelle, New York, and Andover, Massachusetts. He wasn't a great student, but he was funny, the kind of guy who signs his own yearbook. He made his way through Emerson College in Boston, working as a Rolls-Royce and Mercedes mechanic. In 1974, after working locally as a stand-up, he decided to go to L.A. and take a shot at the big time. 3 hard years later, he landed his first appearance on The Tonight Show.
See, my folks grew up during the Depression. So consequently, they make you feel very guilty about everything, you know? I mean, even now I go home for a weekend. Hey, Dad, pass the salt.
We never had salt when we were kids. We had to live without salt. We didn't have underwear or potatoes. We ate dirt every day of the week. Your mother and I hunted wild dog for food. We had nothing when we were your age.
The objects of some of Jay's humor and much of his affection are his parents, Angelo and Catherine. They're a sweet, lively couple who were visiting their son while we were taping at his Beverly Hills home. The house is warm and rustic. It might surprise you to know that Jay collects first editions of classic books, and that most of his joke writing takes place here in the kitchen, where he can try out his topical material on passers-by, like his wife of 9 years, Mavis.
He is extremely shrewd. He looks at something and he sees right to the heart of it. He sees past all the, you know, smoke and mirrors, and he just sees the thing itself.
What do you think is the basis of Jay's humor?
I think he just has a really pronounced sense of the ridiculous.
Did this garage come with this house, this huge garage?
No, we built this. Actually, there aren't many people in this part of town that want a big garage.
And the elevator?
Actually, I would have been happy with a garage and just some basic sleeping quarters, but my wife felt he needed some sort of home attached to
Has
it.
James Bond seen this?
I don't know, actually, but...
Why do you have so many fast cars?
Well, you know, if this one's not running, fine, we'll take that one, fine. You always need a backup. That's the thing. You see, you need something to fall back on. That's what my mother would always say.
What is this that you're falling back on, this beautiful...
This is a Lamborghini Countach.
Is that a big deal?
No, basically economy car. I'm saying this because my insurance company wants it.
Do you drive all of these?
Oh, I drive them all. Yeah, I drive them all. I take them to the studio. It's great fun.
How many do you have?
Oh, God, there's about 22 bikes and about 10 cars, I think.
Wow. This is beautiful, whatever.
This is a Ford Cobra.
You can tell how much I know. This is what?
A Ford Cobra.
A Ford Cobra.
It's like talking to your mom about cars.
This is a nice car, Sonny.
Very nice. It's the blue one. That's the blue one.
When people talk about your humor, it's gentle humor. You're not angry. You don't have a message. I mean, you don't have something you're trying to...
No, I think by not saying things, you say plenty of things. By not doing jokes that are anti-Semitic or sexist or whatever, you get your point across. I mean, to me, the nicest compliment I get is a lot of times women will come up to the show and go, you know, I usually hate comedians, but I liked your act. You didn't make fun of women. So just by not doing it, you've accomplished something, you know.
When we talk about you're not making fun of women, you are married to a very independent woman. You don't make sexist jokes. You don't do funny jokes about my mother-in-law or take my wife or so on.
Not on stage, anyway.
Is that because of your wife? Is that her influence on you?
Well, I will run a joke past her. For example, I would run it... Here's an example. I had a joke that I did about... This is something that actually happened. I told it one night on The Tonight Show. I've got a 55 Buick Roadmaster. And one day, I said to my wife, as we usually do on a Sunday afternoon, I said, come on, let's go down to our favorite pizza place on Santa Monica Boulevard and get a slice of pizza. So I go down to Santa Monica Boulevard, and the street's all blocked off. It was Gay Pride Day. So I said, oh, we're not going to be able to get through here. It's all blocked off. And the policeman sees the car, and he goes, come on, come on. I said, what? He recognized me. I said, oh, one of the benefits of show business, you know. So he said, where are you going? I said, go down to Santa Monica Boulevard. Go. We go down there, we pull around, thing. And all of a sudden I see a 57 Chevy behind me, in front of me, rather. I said, look, honey, that's a nice, shiny car. And now I realized the guy didn't recognize me. He saw the old car. He thought I was in the gay pride parade. They're like a group of gay guys sitting in the car, and they're waving, and I'm driving with my wife down, and people are waving, going, oh, I didn't know Jay Leno was gay. And I'm going, I'm not gay. I'm just trying to get a slice of pizza. Now, I can't get off a Santa Monica Boulevard, and people are applauding and waving, you know. Now, it's a silly story, but I called the, what is it, the National Gay Lesbian thing on whatever the group is. And I said, listen, can I speak to the president of the organization? I said, hi, and told him who I was. I'm a comedian. I said, I'm hosting the Tonight Show. Is this story offensive? I mean, are you going to be upset if I tell this story? And he said, no, go right ahead and do it. Now, if he had said to me, yes, it's a very offensive story, and I think you would insult gay Americans if you did that, all right, I wouldn't do it. It doesn't mean that much to me to get all the letters in the mail. So whenever I have a joke about women or something, I'll say, honey, what do you think of this? And she'll go, no, I hate that joke. I go, okay, fine.
Do you remember your first job? Do you remember your first joke?
Oh, I used to do horrible jobs. I had one time, I was looking for a manager. I said, I'll look up in the paper. Theatrical managers, Boston. It was like, well, there was one name. So I got out and see the guy, and the guy turns out to handle wrestlers. He says, I got it. You'll be comedy man. You'll be comedy man. You wrestle a guy, when he gets you in a hole, you tell him a joke, he falls down laughing, you pin him. You know, I'm like an idiot. I said,
you'll be a chameleon wrestler.
Yeah, and I said, well, I don't know if... He says, do this. Go like this. Go like this. Says, good, I like that, good. You know, and I was there all afternoon practicing. You know, and then you realize, well, gee, I gotta go. And you
maybe that's not it.
Oh, no, that didn't work.
The breakthrough, I guess, came when you finally came to California and worked in the Comedy Store.
You know, for me, it's always been a series of hundreds of little breaks that led to whatever big break. You know, I mean, the one that officially puts you in show business is Tonight Show.
Yeah.
I mean, your Tonight Show is kind of like your first girl. It's over real quick. You don't remember a whole lot about it. And it doesn't last as long. And the Tonight Show lasted 7 minutes. You know, that's better than most guys.
Johnny may not work forever. Would you like to have the job?
If Johnny offered me the job, would I take it? Sure.
Yeah.
It's fun. I think it's the only job in TV that I would want, that I would really like. Have I been offered the same show on other networks? Sure.
Would you do it?
No.
You wouldn't go on against him?
No.
You wouldn't do a Joe
No. I wouldn't do... I mean, I work for Johnny Carson. If whatever he says is fine with me. I mean, he's good for someone like myself to learn from. And he proves that he's a comedian every night of the week. He doesn't rely on an act that he did 20 years ago. Oh, remember my act, and coast along on it now. And that's what I like.
Jay, you finish the Carson show, and then you run, like, to Las Vegas to do a show the next day. And then the same day you may take a plane if you can and go to Ohio. And you know, why now? I mean, I can say, what drives you? Why do you have to work so hard? What does? You don't have to do all
Well, I don't, stuff. You know, it's very, see, this is very funny to me. I think this is the only time in American history when you're considered a bit odd if you work hard.
How much were you on the road last year? Do you know?
Oh, a lot. Probably, I don't know if it's 300 days, but pretty close to that.
Almost every single day. Does your wife go with you?
She'll go with me unless it's one of those, you know, Anchorage, Miami, Seattle.
Otherwise, she travels with you?
Yeah, we usually travel together, yeah.
Do you want to have children?
I don't think we're going to have any children. We seem to be having a pretty good time as it is now, so... I know I'll probably get letters from people saying, you're being selfish and whatnot, but...
Yeah. They'll say, why don't you settle down? Or what are you escaping from?
Oh, I don't think I'm escaping from anything. I don't know. I mean, I think if my wife said, geez, I'd really like to have kids, oh, okay, whatever you want, you know. I mean, she said it's not real important to her, so all right, fine.
Her interest, your wife's interest is so different from yours.
Well,
she's kind of a bookworm and...
Oh, yeah, my wife. But see, that works for me. I never really understood why men would be impressed with women that were stupid. You know, like, you see this girl, she's incredible looking, and she's real stupid. Like, hey, you must be pretty smart to get a real stupid woman. I mean, I don't really understand why having a stupid woman attracted to you would be better.
Do you have dozens and dozens of jokes in your head? Do you remember them all?
Dozens, certainly more than dozens and dozens. I remember when I was very young, I remember the first joke I told, it was Miss Allen's class in the 4th grade. And I still see all these teachers, by the way, which is very funny. And she was talking about, the Sheriff of Nottingham, and Robin Hood and Friar Tuck, and she said the sheriff was a very mean man, and he would get Robin's men and boil them in oil. And I remember putting my hand on him. I said, well, she couldn't do that with Tuck. And she said, why not? I said, well, he was a friar. I mean, it's a stupid joke. I mean, it's a terrible joke. But later in the hall, other teachers would say, what was that joke you told him, Miss Allen? So obviously she had told the joke. And I thought, well, this is kind of neat. I mean, I never thought in terms of being a comedian, but it was just fun. I always remember the reaction of people reciting something I had said.
If I give you a topic, can you try and tell me a joke or do whatever comes into your head?
I don't know.
Let's see where we go. Shall we start? Okay. On the road.
On the road?
Yeah, being on the road. Whatever.
Well, you do things on the road, I think, which are well, I don't know, maybe you do this when you're on the road. You find yourself, I was thinking about this the other day, you find yourself reading the whole paper. You know, you'll sit home and you'll be sitting in your hotel going, oh, there's a blueberry pie with a graham cracker crust. 2 cups of sugar. And, you know, you do, that's what you do. You do.
There's nothing else to do. Sex.
Sex?
Sex.
Actually, this is true. I remember when I was 11 years old, oh, maybe a little bit old, maybe about 12, my father waited till my mother was out of the room, out of the house. He said, your mother wants me to talk to you a little bit about, a little about the birds and the bees. You know anything about the birds and the bees, son? You know anything about that? I said, well, yeah, Dad, I know a little bit about it. Good, good. How the Red Sox look this year? How are we going to get that pennant? What do you think? And that was pretty much my whole sex education. That was everything I needed to know. Good, good, good. Well, I'm glad to see you straighten that out, you know.
Commercials.
Oh, well, commercials, you can just... Actually, I saw one the other day, which I thought was very odd. It was a print ad. And this is my new favorite commercial. Yeah, how can I say this? You know that product Depend? Well, it's an undergarment that you wear, and the ad said, Depend undergarments. It's not just for people with bladder control problems. And I got to thinking, how lazy do you have to be? I mean, you're sitting there watching the game. Honey, bring me a beer. Oh, these Depends are great, you know? You know? I think, why else? What does that mean? It's not for people. But I just the idea that you would just sit there and, oh, gosh, this is fabulous. More, honey, more beer. I could sit here all day and watch the game.
And I could just sit here all day and enjoy you. Thank you, Chick.
Well, thanks.
I've had it with reality. I want illusion. So, L'Oreal reinvented oil-free makeup. New Matique Illuminating Matte. The illusion of glow, but not ever the shine. You stay fresh, fresh, fresh. Your skin looks healthier, alive, good enough to get you arrested. So, toodaloo reality. I've seen real illusion, and it's oil-free Matique.
Matique, the new illuminating matte makeup from L'Oreal.
Financial serenity. It takes confidence. Control. Travelers has been delivering on this promise of financial peace of mind for 125 years. With carefully controlled investments, with insurance protection you can trust. The Travelers, you're better off under the umbrella.
The Do Not Disturb vacation. The do all the things you've never done before vacation. The let's go out to dinner every night vacation. The getting to know the locals vacation. The I'll find something to do vacation. The best vacations are this vacation. The Royal Caribbean vacation. It's all here.
Rich Little for Little Debbie.
Hey, pal, where you going?
I'll be back.
I'm starving. Bring me a snack.
Have a cookie.
A cookie? Those are Little Debbie snack cakes.
They are cookies.
Nutty Bars, Supremes, Figaroos, Star Crunch.
I like crunchy.
Okay, give me a Nutty Bar.
They are cookies.
Okay, you call them whatever you like. Just give me a Little Debbie.
They are good cookies.
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
We're going to put on our own beauty pageant for the guys. I'm a little overbooked this week.
Live from the Jet Set, the first annual Miss China Beach pageant.
The Emmy-winning China Beach.
Thursday, Diane Sawyer journeys to Cambodia, reuniting families torn apart by the killing fields. Incredible moving stories. Plus,
people here live and breathe Cubs baseball.
frantic fans' Pennant Fever on Primetime Live Thursday.
please, ladies and gentlemen, please. Thank you. American money, thank you. Thank you. We'll keep playing till we raise $2 million. Oh, dear. That's right.
It's a hot August afternoon in Central Park. And what began as an encounter with a strolling violinist became a rare opportunity to watch Robin Williams seize the day.
All of this money goes directly to the Barbra Walters Foundation. Please help. Thank you. Please. An interview show is a terrible thing to waste.
You can't help wondering how his mind works, how he got this way. He grew up in affluence. Dad was an executive for Ford Motors, and Mom kept an active social calendar. Robin was their only child. He describes his childhood as quiet and lonely.
Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the Metropolitan Opera House in New York City, Mr. Robin Williams.
Today, at age 37, Robin Williams is the Charlie Chaplin of his generation, the innovator, the improviser. On stage, Robin throws away the rule book and refuses to play it safe. He can make a 5-minute comedy routine out of a woman in the audience leaving for the bathroom.
She might be dead in there. Let's see. Damn it, the poor woman might be trapped.
Allison.
Her name is Allison? Allison? Allison. Allison, this is the police. We know you're in there.
He can find humor in a disaster like Chernobyl.
We believe now the accident at Chernobyl has been taken care of. If you'd like to follow us into the plant, I'll show you around.
Just when you think you know something, you have to look at it in another way.
And perhaps most miraculous of all, he can change our image of him from stand-up comedian to one of our finest actors, as he did with last summer's Dead Poets Society.
Boys, you must strive to find your own voice. Because the longer you wait to begin, the less likely you are to find it at all. Thoreau said most men lead lives of quiet desperation. Don't be resigned to that. Break out.
The film, about a strict boarding school for boys, is said to reflect Robin's personal philosophy about life.
Seize the day. Gather ye rosebuds while ye may.
Although he was educated at Juilliard in New York as a classical actor, Robin found stand-up comedy was what paid the bills. He worked with a comedy troupe in San Francisco before getting cast as a regular in a failed revival of Laugh-In.
Good evening. Tonight, I would like to talk to you about the serious subject of schizophrenia.
No, he doesn't. Shut up. Let him talk.
Hello.
But the big break came in 1978 with a bizarre spin-off of the hit series Happy Days. The show was called Mork and Mindy.
Mork, calling Orson.
Mork was the perfect character for Robin. Since he played an alien, he didn't have to behave like regular folks, something Robin rarely did anyway. It led to his being cast in what everyone expected to be the blockbuster of 1980, a live-action version of the comic strip Popeye.
I'm Popeye, the sailor, and I am what I am, what I am, and I am what I am, and that's all that I am, 'cause I am what I am.
Popeye was a kind of movie that ruins great careers and mocks talented people as box office poison. Fortunately, his next film, The World According to Garp, was successful enough to keep him from crashing.
We'll take the house.
Garp.
Honey, the chances of another plane hitting this house are astronomical. See, it's been pre-disastered. It'll be safe here.
Next, Robin embarked on a long list of forgettable films. Some were good, some were bad, none were blockbusters. In the middle of it all came the overdose death of Robin's friend, John Belushi. Robin had seen Belushi that night and volunteered to testify at the hearing. Robin, too, it seems, was addicted to cocaine. It took the death of his friend and the birth of his son, Zachary, now 6, to clean him up for good.
You have this dream where you're doing cocaine in your sleep and you can't fall asleep, and you're doing cocaine in your sleep and you can't fall asleep, and you wake up and you're doing cocaine. Bingo.
There was still the problem of the movie career. The man, it seemed, was impossible to cast. He needed a role where he could perform as well as act. And in 1987, he got it.
Good morning, Vietnam! Hey,
Good Morning, Vietnam let us see every corner of his talent, and once and for all canceled his image as box office death. All of which would have been wonderful were it not for the fact that his personal life at the time was in turmoil. He was in the middle of a divorce with his ex-wife, Valerie, when this cover appeared in 1988. It implied that Robin had divorced his wife and run off with his son's nanny. It angers Robin to this day. So much so that even on a hot Sunday in the park, he wanted to sit down and talk of the misconceptions about his new wife, Marcia.
I mean, the basic byline was the nanny that broke up the marriage.
Yes.
First of all, you know, we didn't become involved till it was a year after I'd been separated. And she only took care of Zachary for a short time, and then somebody else was taking care of him. And then she became my assistant and worked with me during, you know, started off working with me when I first became separated.
So it wasn't a romance then?
No.
Their baby, Zelda, was only 6 days old when we took her on her first outing. She was born on July 31st here in New York because increasingly, that's where her daddy is making movies.
Donald Trump, white courtesy phone.
How do you like what we've done to your house? Have we improved your living room?
I believe you've done something beautiful with here. These, if you can pan over here, and that one, these are staying to give it that lovely high-tech look. These, I would like to just keep here just to have in the house. You know, it's always good for Zelda to actually wake up and go, no. Just keep them around. Hey, you've got a film studio now here. This is beautiful. I like this.
No, this is what you've done in this lovely stuff. This stuff, you can never have enough moving blankets in your home. You can never insulate your house for sound, because eventually you'll be walking around the house going, it's wonderful. Now I'll be doing Comics of a Lesser God. This is great. Look, he can't behind it.
You're driving him crazy.
This is great. Well, this will have that special look.
This is called reality.
And now we can do like the mafia interview. I never saw her.
I talked with Robin in his Manhattan apartment. This was not like any interview I've ever done. But to talk with Robin Williams is like stepping into a hurricane and discovering a calm at the center. Okay. Tell us about the baby. Can I stop you from telling me about the baby?
God. Yeah, it's a girl. She's 9 pounds, 7 ounces. Actually, a friend said we gave birth to a woman. She had shoes and a bag. It was amazing to go through it again, but it's just as amazing the second time. Just to look at her is like better than any videotape. You can sit and just kind of watch and just watch this.
You watch her and she watches you?
Yeah, she checks me out and goes,
Will you be buying me things?
look, Bloomingdale's. Can you say that? Bloomingdale's.
No, Cartier.
Okay. Yeah, so I watch her, yeah.
Robin, I want to ask you all the dumb questions like, were you born like this?
No. I guess it happened like the first year of college. It was a store of things. Basically, no, I wasn't performing all the time. I performed with, truth is, performing for my mother. It's like Leno Bruce used to talk about it, saying it's a love me syndrome. For me, performing was a great way to, interrelate with my mother. She was funny, and a way greater to talk back to her was to be funny back. And we played back and forth that way. And that's where performing came from. And then it really, it sounds like a closet comic. I remember I used to have a rubber chicken. And the first year of college, I started performing in this improv group, and I never stopped since then.
That's not what you intended to do, though.
No, I intended to be a political scientist. It's very difficult to imagine me right now going, Mr. Williams, I find what you're doing right now, the neo-democratic tendencies. Basically, what I find the Supreme Court doing right now is writing the Constitution on an Etch-a-Sketch.
I think it's good that you went into a different profession.
Yeah, I think it's better that way.
Robin, do you ever just talk straight?
Yeah.
For how long?
Hours at a time.
Yeah?
Yeah, I can for a long time. Don't like to, because it's more fun to play.
Did you go into comedy because you couldn't make it as an actor?
Yes, I actually...
Is that true? That's what I read. That you couldn't get a job as a...
Yes.
You cry on this program, I won't run any of it.
It was that...
You promised me you wouldn't cry.
I tell you, I couldn't make it as an actor. I remember doing Hamlet going, to be, line, I found it very difficult being in tights, and you're wearing tights and you're doing Shakespeare and they can tell what religion you are.
The tears come down your cheeks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they go.
I just feel
I can't believe it, Barbara. You, oh, God,
Pull yourself, Robin. Pull yourself together.
Pull myself in. Because I couldn't make it, because it was difficult in coming back from Juilliard and trying to find acting work.
Are you now in a position where you can choose the roles? You said at one point that, I think it was, you thought that Steve Martin got the parts first.
It was like a
Eddie
comic
Murphy,
food chain.
Yeah.
You can tell, you can tell what scripts came from Eddie, because there's a lot of whiteout. But
wait a minute. This says this is a role for a black man.
No, it isn't really. You'll see. And, you can tell, it was there was like a food chain that you work your way up.
Where are you now in that chain?
I don't know.
I think you're way up there.
Somewhere below Jack. We're all below Jack, Barbara. Jack's the king. We're all just players in the court. Every time you see a bat shirt, there's Jack going, hey, who knew? You know.
After Mork and Mindy, I remember we tried to do an interview with you when you were doing Mork, and you were way up there, boy, you know. And then there was that...
So that period.
That quiet.
The quiet time,
period,
what we like to call the Popeye years.
Yes, yes. And a few others that made...
The Popeye Survivor's Best of Times
years.
Those films that you'd see people walking out going, I want some money from you. Yeah.
Why do they think he's funny?
Yeah. Yeah. Are you that guy from Survivors? Yeah. Then you shouldn't do any more movies. You're no good. Yeah, it was scary when you see a movie on cable before it actually came out, then you know it's not good.
People also feel, in writing about you and, you know, in reading the interviews, that the death of John Belushi was an enormous influence on you, rather than just, well, I don't know, you tell me what it was for you.
It's only the fact that, you know, here's a guy who was probably one of the toughest, strongest people you could ever meet, and he's taken out, you know, and it's basically, it cleaned up a whole generation of people. Because this guy was as strong as anybody you could ever meet. I mean, a guy, John, for a laugh, could run into that wall and get up and do it again. So if it took him out, you realize that, you know, we're all pretty mortal.
When we hear about people using drugs, most of the time they use them to get a high.
Yeah, for me it was basically it was a great way of escaping. It was a great way to cut off from people because it was the only time I could escape, you know. It was, I would, if I was on cocaine right now, I'd be looking over here out the window going, they're coming, man. Even though we're up 30 floors, I know they're there. So that was why I could have cut off, escape. I didn't have to deal with anybody. And then you realize that's what's wonderful now, is all the people I actually come up and have conversations with people. I'm not afraid to talk to people. You know, and sometimes you run into people who you should be afraid to talk to, and then you realize that.
But you said that you can get out on that floor and talk to thousands of people, and it's okay, and very hard one-to-one.
Yeah.
Still.
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes it's difficult. Yeah. I mean, performing is different than actually, you know, intimacy. There's a difference between it. And we'll be right back. It's a whole other thing. Performing for me is the greatest release in the world. It is a drug. I mean, even now you realize there's other drugs that are not drugs, like Zelda, or like the most addicting of all is love. I mean, when you see a child, I mean, there's some great endorphin release then. Creating something is another drug. There's an incredible release then. That's why Einstein looks amazingly high. He's just like, well, I don't know, but I'll be back, you know. It's crazy. What are you doing? The speed of light. It's crazy. It's wild. Strange thing, if you ever walk up to a scientist and go, hi, Mr. Oppenheimer, I've seen all your bombs. Can you sign this?
When you get up there, do you know at all what you're going to say, or does it all, I mean, when you're there, does...
Sometimes. It's like an outline. Sometimes I have that, or sometimes it'll be times where I just go out and try stuff, where you have like an idea, especially now with things flying, just to come up with a premise. I mean, it's like, example, the Supreme Court recently ruled that you can't execute retarded people, but there was recently an execution in North Carolina, or one of the southern states, somewhere below the Manson-Nixon line, where they executed a retarded person, and someone didn't throw the switch the right way, and they survived, which is nice because they're actually using retarded people for the execution. Don't be afraid. So this is all part of it. You try stuff. I can see the look of you right now, like...
I mean, that's... Woo! Because to me, because to me, I think that's tragic. You can take anything and make it funny.
No, it's not trying to make it... Well, it obviously didn't work that well the way you look.
It's trying to make me cry.
I looked at you. You look like a deer.
This is going to be the switch. Yeah. This is going to be the first.
Whoa! You look like a deer in front of a Peterbilt. Like.
Oh, we won't put that in the special, will we?
This is the first special in which you'll be straight and I'll cry.
Yeah, you'll be like...
You didn't have to do the retarded execution.
That's right.
You didn't have to talk about that.
You could have talked about the baby a little more.
Yeah, stay with the baby. Don't talk about the country. It's scary.
Excuse me.
We have to do the Waldheimlich maneuver on you.
I don't remember anything before 1945. What happened? I don't know. Barbara. I was in the forest. I was not a Nazi. I was picking nuts. I was a Nazi. I was cracking walnuts. I never meant to do that. We were going to do a musical called Saturday Night Fever. I was never there. Goebbels was wearing something from Fredericks of Hollywood. It was not my fault. I was delivering underwear to Goebbels, and he was coming out dancing like Betty Grable. What does that make me? I don't know. They were crazy that way. We woke up, we were in Poland. It wasn't anybody's fault, you know.
I think I'm warmed up now.
I think you're... Forget it.
Now we're back! It's been a couple of months since I've performed.
Hi, this is Jay. Today we're going to talk about new Salsa Doritos tortilla chips. Now, I know what you're thinking. I don't want to try anything new. Hey, is that the spirit this country was founded on? What if Lewis and Clark had said, oh, I don't want to see what's on the other side of the Rockies? Oh, sure, you're saying there's nothing new about onions, peppers, tomatoes? But it took an American to put it on a tortilla chip and give it a name like Salsa Rio. So do your patriotic duty. Try new Salsa Rio Doritos and crunch all you want. We'll make more.
Oh, the things people do to clean tough stains from under the rim of their bathroom bowl. Because that's a very tough reach for some bowl cleaners. But there's a better way. Because Lysol Toilet Bowl Cleaner, the heavyweight, has gotten better. It goes after stains with this incredible angle neck that easily fits under the rim to wipe out rust, mineral stains, and germs. So look at it this way. All you need is Lysol Toilet Bowl Cleaner, the heavyweight with a powerful new angle on cleaning.
Nothing moves you.
Something wild is coming.
Petra!
The Cougar XR7. It has speed-sensitive steering and anti-lock brakes. But most of all, it has a supercharged 210 horsepower engine. Wow! It's becoming a cat-eat-dog world out there. Cougar. All this and the quality of a Mercury.
He says I'm a gorgeous blonde. I say I'm a smart blonde. He says my hair's the color of a pale golden jewel. I say, of course. I use Preference by L'Oreal. Preference color is translucent with subtle shadings. He says touching my hair is a sensuous experience. I say that's the Preference difference. He says I'm worth it. I say the guy's no dummy.
Performing Preference from L'Oreal.
Friday. If you're a woman in Pakistan and you're raped, you could go to jail. Islamic women, the most oppressed life in the world. Watch 2020 Friday.
Sunday.
How would you like to babysit for me on Friday night?
I'm not supposed to leave the house.
Listen, son, it's not safe here. You can't stay.
Corky and Billy have disappeared.
Life goes on, and
You missed a spot.
Winnie's got all kinds of special powers. So let the spirit move you. Free spirit.
Yo.
Then.
Other countries are run by women. Where are we gonna go when that happens? You can run, but you can't hide. I hate politics.
Homeroom rocks Sunday.
The Barbra Walters Special, brought to you by new L'Oreal Plenitude Skincare, Matique Illuminating Matte Makeup, and Performing Preference Hair Color, all by L'Oreal.
We hope you had a smile or two. And we'll be back with an all-new special in November. Thank you for being with us tonight.
It's like the Ten Commandments. It's a great movie. But there's actors in that who should never do biblical films. Edward G. Robinson.
Where's the Messiah now? I like the new ad campaign. You need TV Guide because TV's getting more complicated every day. Boy, you know there are people out there saying, gee, we'd like to watch the Dukes of Hazzard. We just don't have the educational background. If only there was a supplement we could follow along.
I could enunciate to the back row, just like Sylvester Stallone doing Hamlet. This would be a place where Stallone could do Hamlet. To be or what?